And this here were the slave quarters. But slavery is over, but you don't own anything because you've been working for free for years. So now, Massa in the big house is like, you know what? Slavery is over and I'm going to be really nice to you. These slave quarters are now your house. It's a room, but you've been there anyway, so now it can be your house. And you're like, oh, Massa, that's so nice because you have nothing, right? But then you start to think, man, what am I going to eat? How am I going to earn some real money? Massa knows you're going to say that, so Massa's like, oh, you don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do is give you this piece of land right here. Okay? But remember, do you own anything?
No.
Okay. If you have land and you want to be able to grow food on it, and eventually with that food you want to do what in order to get money?
Sell.
Okay. What you gonna need?
You're going to need seeds.
You're gonna need seed.
Yeah.
What else do you need?
Water.
Water. Jesus gonna bring that.
Supply.
What else do you need? Yeah.
You need gardening tools like
Gardening tools.
like plows.
And what else do you need?
Money.
Well, money for what?
You need money so that you can buy stuff.
Oh, so you have to buy this with something. But I don't have any money. Oh, man, how am I going to get the money?
Massa.
How
Massa.
are you going to get these things? Yes?
You have to work for AD and that, and then you want to
So, but Massa's going to be like, no, you don't have to work for this. I'm going to lend it to you. But let's say that all of this is going to cost $100 rent a year, right? We're just going to say that's what Massa said. And we're going to be like, okay. Because we haven't gone to school. We don't know much of stuff. Not our fault. But that's what happened. 1 second. So then, you have this. How are you going to pay it? How do you pay it back eventually? From what? From selling the crops. Okay. But check it out. So you're selling the crop, right? The first thing that comes out of it is what? Money to pay the rent. Okay. And then this isn't really yours, right? So the crop is being
Shared.
hence sharecropping with the old Massa. But what happens if Jesus didn't bring the rain that year? And if there's no crop, then what?
No money.
And if there's no money, then what?
You can't live there.
Oh, you live there.
You can't pay them.
And you can't pay them. Now, if you can't pay them at the end of the year, are you only going to owe $100? You are going to owe interest.
My class about that.
Exactly. Back up there. So the cycle of debt happens if this is not enough. And then, not only that, if you're not voting and you're not really participating in the laws that control the market, right? Let's say that this is just one old plantation, but then there's another plantation, right? This area sells corn or buys corn from whites for 20 cents a bushel. From blacks, they only give them maybe 15 cents a bushel. But then, on this area, it's like 25 cents to 20 cents. You never know what the cost of the food is going to be that you're selling because they don't have to give you a fair price. You are still not fully a what? Exactly. Because if you can't vote and you can't decide on how your life is going to be because you're only relegated to certain jobs, you end up consistently in debt. So you're working hard, doing the only thing that you still know how to do, still owing the same person who had you working there for free for years. but you have to pay that person back. After the reason why this person has their house and their crops in the first place was because of you. So imagine just the psychology behind that, right? Latae.
That's saying that, like, what if all the slaves, right, they just stopped working? It would be like no type of progress or anything, like, because the white people, they wasn't gonna go and, you know, do things for themselves. They were so, like, you know.
So you're asking, like, why is it that it took so long for there to basically be a strike or a boycott?
Yeah.
Because even if you're just out of slavery, you still want to feel like, okay, I'm doing something for myself. I'm not just gonna sit down and do nothing. I still have to eat. Even if I decide that I don't want to work for this person, I still have to eat. So whether it's for old Miss Sally in another place or old Master Johnson that I've been knowing for all these years, I'm still going to have to work. And it took a long time to accrue any type of wealth, even a little bit of it, like we saw in Rosewood, before they could decide, okay, now we'll have our own thing, and we'll make our own money, and we'll sell to our own people, and figure out how we're going to do this. But it couldn't be done just right out of slavery. Because remember, Rosewood and Black Wall Street in Tulsa, that was 1920s, right?
Mm-hmm.
This started round about, like, right after Emancipation Proclamation was signed and everybody knew about it. So people still can't read, people still can't write. You're going to do whatever you can to survive, forgetting that the person who has been subjugating you for years could possibly still be doing the same thing. Yes,
All right.
quickly, and then Kayana.
But doesn't that remind you of, like, Occupy Wall Street? Because you see how, like, they're not working, right?
Who's they?
The people, the protesters, they're not working right now. They're still, like, defending themselves, right?
Some are not working. There are some people, like, okay, I love the fact that you did bring in the Occupy Wall Street thing, but one of the reasons why I said that I wanted you to read more about it,
I did.
the people who are at Occupy Wall Street, there are some people who are genuinely there because they have absolutely no other choice. They aren't working. They think that Wall Street is to blame for everything that's happened instead of the legislators who made the laws that made it possible. But then there are other people there who are like the people that I went to school with, who after college, instead of having to go get a job, they could travel for a year because they were on their parents' dime. Some of the people who were there, from what I've been told, because I have friends who are journalists, one of them actually got arrested this weekend, but anyway, who were there because, like, they don't have anything else to do. And they're like, okay, let me protest something. I have money. I don't have a problem because my mom and dad actually, you know, are benefiting from this stuff. But I'm going to help and do things. So just be careful when you're doing the comparison because everybody that's there isn't there for the same reason.
Wait, all right, look. But you see how, like, they still have food, right? For Thanksgiving, they did, it wasn't, like, the best meal.
But no, that was donated. It was donated by people. It wasn't, they didn't just buy it. There are people who've been donated money. Mm-hmm.
So if everybody would have did something, would have done something. You see how, like,
from where?
Look, you see how, like, Mr. Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had money that he's
1920s, after going to the war, getting discharge papers and a pension.
You have to do what you gotta do, right? See? So he got his money some way, somehow. It's irrelevant. But he still got money. And then he got his land. People was mad because he got his land. But if he would have did something for the people, if he would have done something for the people who was actually trying to do something in their life, then it would have been like a community thing. Just like how Occupy Wall Street was sort of a community thing. By them donating food and stuff like that, it was bigger than that.
But you're still coming with the assumption that people had a lot of stuff. The difference between slavery and sharecropping is that with slavery, of course you have no control over your life, but you have a place to sleep and there is food constantly coming at you because we need to keep you at least halfway alive in order to do our crops. However, after slavery, there is no obligation to give you some place to live. We've been evil. What makes you think we're going to be better all of a sudden afterwards? There's no obligation for us to do any of this. The obligation remains to make some kind of money off of you. And this is the way to do it. we didn't leave you with a whole bunch of crops in that land that you've been working on. We didn't just give that to you. We didn't give you a whole bunch of chicken and a pig and all these other things so that you can be okay, because we still don't see you as an equal. That's why you're not a citizen. So why would we give you the tools to destroy us?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what you say?
I saw in the textbook it says that some freemen were able to own little land. So if they own the how
Some in some places.
does that depend on if the master was nice or not?
It could be that. There were also some who, I mean, sometimes when you were a slave, you were able, if you had a nice master, to go other places and earn a little bit of money. And with that, if you saved it, some people stole. And for them, it wasn't stealing. I've been working for this, you know? And so certain things were taken and then they sold it in order to get money. And that's how they were able to get land. Also, later on, you'll learn about the whole 40 acres and a mule thing that didn't quite work properly. It was something like the Homestead Act that I told you about. But blacks were supposed to get some type of reparation for being enslaved. There were only a few people that actually got that. Some of the residents of Rosewood were some of those people, and some of Black Wall Street were some of those, but it wasn't a consistent thing all around. Yes?
Okay, I think it's dumb that the Occupy Wall Street happened because,
Let him finish. He like you speak.
because it's Black Friday. We spent $3.4
Thank
million.
you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And people are complaining because they don't got no money.
There were
But you
billions,
could
he's saying
find-
like, there were billions of dollars spent then when we were saying we're in the middle of a recession and Occupy Wall Street did all this stuff and the 99% are horrible and poor and we're horrible because of what the 1% is doing, but that much money was spent on Black Friday.
And I think it's dumb because people can spend money on shoes or like the phone pods like Space Games,
But not tutoring.
but they can't spend money on their education.
Well, preach.
Be quiet, Frank.
Okay. So yes, Erica. I want to hear her.
I get what Taylor's saying, but not everyone has that mindset. Everyone thinks for themselves first, not for everyone else.
Not true.
Yes.
I was when we did that project for Thanksgiving, I think, and I was looking up for Wall Street line, and then I saw that it was more than one Occupy in other places. I looked at Oakland, and they having one because of they having the same reason as us, but even though that they in a recession or whatever, they have tents. I saw a picture